Hello everyone, it's Maria here from Pepperly Rose Paper Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Australia. Thank you all so much for joining me. Today I am going to show you something that I got in the post yesterday, and it is the Stamparatus. I've already opened it and had a little play with it, so I'll explain a few things as I open it, but I'm going to demonstrate the Stamparatus with the Sweet Little Something stamp set. This is the perfect stamp set to demonstrate with, as it has 3 steps. So this is where you will see how handy the Stamparatus is. So without further ado, here is how the Stamparatus comes. It comes with just a regular box. It's quite a sturdy box, okay, so it's quite thick. When you open it up, I've already opened it up, but I'm going to show you how you get it, okay? So it comes bubble wrapped. You take out the bubble wrap. It comes with a booklet which tells you in several languages how to put this together. So it tells you, I think, in English, French, Danish and Japanese, from what I can tell. No, sorry, I think it's German. Anyway, it just gives you a pictorial of how to put the Stamparatus together, but I will show you in the flesh. It comes individually wrapped, each plate, so you get 2 plates, not just the one. These have etched grids on them. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they've got etched grids on one side. One side's smooth and the other side's got an etched grid. So you get 2 of those, and you get your base, which is quite sturdy. It has a foam for your photopolymer. I have had to add a sheet of craft foam underneath it, and I will tell you why shortly. I find that works. So I cut it to roughly, it's just over the this is a 7x7 workspace, 7x7 inch workspace, or if you want it in centimetres, it's a 17.5 by 17.5 centimetres in diameter with the workspace. So what you do with this is you have the foam insert for photopolymer stamp sets, and you have this for your red rubber. Okay, so that's that one. So I'll put this here because it is a photopolymer set, and you get 2 plates. So you put one here, okay, and it opens like that, and you put the other one there. And the brilliant thing about these is, just like the Tim Holtz one, you can lift it off, turn it around, and that gives you in the end 4 workspaces, not just 2. So that's pretty handy. So to start off with, I'm going to pop a piece of Whisper White cardstock up here, and I'm going to position the stamp. Now I like to start off with the most solid image, because then that helps me to line it up. So I'm going to pop that on here. Now, as the reason why I have a craft foam piece underneath this one is because of the way that the Stamparatus is designed, especially around the corners, you cannot effectively stamp near the corner if you wish to stamp there with the way it was. So when I added a piece of craft foam, that allowed me to then stamp without an issue. So I'm just going to position, I like to put mine to the corner because I just prefer it that way. It's just easier for me, and if something goes wrong, I know how to position it again without an issue. But before I do that, I forgot to mention, when you close this up, you can only use one of the plates closed. The other one has to be taken off, and then you just put it like that. Now, if you want to use both plates, what happens is this doesn't close, so it ends up like that. And so if you were to put it down somewhere, you will break it, so don't do that at all. Also, I forgot to mention, this is a magnetized base. So I'll just show you what I mean. Underneath here, we have 2 bar magnets. These are incredibly strong. I have seen other people demonstrate with the magnets close together. They snap close together, so that means that if your fingers are in the way, they're going to get pinched really hard. These are very, very strong, and I'm not kidding, they are very strong. See that? You can't even lift it off. That's how strong it is. And this base, let me tell you, is quite solid. So here we go. See, you can even lift it off. It's incredibly strong. So do not put these together. Make sure they're away from each other. I suggest that you use, like, I'm using painter's tape, but you can use washi tape or duct tape just to help you take them on and off, because they are quite hard. Yeah, they're very, very strong magnets, so just as a warning. So you can see here, it's incredibly strong, and even with my craft foam and this, it's still very strong. Like, I'm not kidding, very, very strong. So make sure that you do not have them anywhere near each other, because they will break. Stampin' Up! Will not replace broken magnets. They've warned you, I've warned you, so they will not replace them for you. But if you've reserved this last year in, I think it was in November, then they're starting to do shipments now of the Stamparatus. If you've missed that window, then don't worry, you can actually start buying them from our annual catalogue, and that will be available on the 1st of June. So there we go. So we'll put the plates on here, and we'll put our Whisper White cardstock piece there. I've got my craft foam sheet, because as I said, it stamps better with that on there. So I'm going to pop that on here first, make sure it's in the corner. I like it in the corner. And I am going to add a magnet just to be sure, and I'll just pop that over there. Okay, so I'll pop my stamp there. I'm going to pick it up with my, actually I don't like the magnet there, I'll take it off. Because I've got the Tim Holtz stamp platform, and I've done videos on that, as well as the Misty. I'm pretty good with putting the things in the corner. I'm using Crumb Cake as my lightest colour to stamp the base of the rabbit. So I'm going to use that now. And this is just to start off with, so that I can position and just do that. And if you're not happy with how that stamped, the beauty of having this there is that you can do it again. And then we'll stamp that colour again. Okay, that's a much more even colour. I think I've got like a little bit of a bubble on my stamp. And I do. But anyway, that's okay. So for now, I'm just going to just leave it as is. So to position the other two stamps is going to be very, very easy. So I grab the next one, which is this one here. And this is handy when you're doing multiples and when you're changing colours, all sorts of things. This is really, really handy. So actually, that did not stamp well. I'm going to do it again on this side. Grab my Crumb Cake again, and this time I'm going to make sure there's no bubble. Okay. Here I go again. It's a little bit of a learning curve for me, but it's not hard, so it's good. Okay, let's see how that goes. Oh, that stamped a lot better. Heaps better. Do it again. Make sure it's right, buttered up right to the corner. And stamp. Okay, so now my image is stamped. just wipe that off so I don't make a mess. Okay, now I'm going to use my second image and I'm going to position that. I'll bring this closer, and I'm sorry if my head gets in the way, but I want to make sure that it really does position well. And so what I'm doing now is making sure, and I'm very sorry if my head's in the way, is that it's positioned perfectly where I want it. Okay. I'm usually really pedantic about how it's positioned, so I hope without the camera in my head I can do this. All right. So there we go. Now we have the other stamp surface. So I'm going to pick that up and position that. Then I'm going to turn this one over and I'll have that final image, which is this one here. And I'll position that as well. Make sure I've positioned it correctly. Okay, I hope I've got it. Sorry if my head's in the way. Okay, so there's your other surface right there. All right, so let's see it in action. Right, I'm going to grab my soft suede for the second image. Okay, and we'll see this bunny come to life. So soft suede for the second image. Make sure it's right in the corner. And stamp. Okay, that's coming along. I like that. Looks really good. I'll just give that a bit of a wipe just around. And then I've got chocolate chip for the final image that's put on here. Okay, so you can see that coming along. Well, this is exciting. All right, let's see if it turns out. And that turned out really cool. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I'm going to stamp the chocolate chip again just to make that a little bit darker, but I love it. Check that out. Okay, go right to the corner and stamp. Just give it a press over the area. And I think that turned out super duper adorable. Look at that. The ink's a bit wet, but I just love it. Check that out. That turned out really, really good. Now, what I'm going to do now as well is just to show you, using the 4 surfaces, you know, all at once. I'm just going to give this a bit. You can use stamping mist, by the way. I'm just going to take that out for a second. You can use stamping mist as well on this, but you can't use stays on. Okay, it's just like the misty. You can't use stays on, but stamping mist is perfectly fine to getting rid of any ink that's stubborn. Usually I like using my stamping mist for things like browns and what have you. So I'm going to put on Happy Easter because I think it's cute. I'll position it where I want it. So I'll position that, say, down here. I'm going to turn over that other one. And I'm going to take it up there. And I'm going to use the grid, if you can see here, and see if I've got it on straight. So I've got it roughly where I want it, but I want to make sure that I use the grid on the plate here to make sure that my sentiment's straight. So I might ink that up in chocolate chip as well. I'll just mop that up. And there we go. See, we used all 4 sides. Isn't that cute? And you can, oh no, I got ink, got a little smudge on there. I'll wipe that off very quickly. But there you go. Wipe that off. But there you have it. So that's the 4 in action. Isn't that great? So now I'm going to show you another one where I've done that in action and without me removing the plates. Just hang on a second. I'll just grab another piece of Whisper White. So you can mass produce. I'll show you. So you grab another piece of cardstock there. So we'll start from the beginning. Turn that over. Get the crumb cake. So I'm going to show this to you now once you've done the setup. Oops. Oh no. It came apart. Oh dear. Oh, hang on a second. My ink pad just came apart. So I'll just put this back together and I'll be back on in a second. Okay, so I've got now my second piece of cardstock here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you now it all in action once it's set up. So I've got my crumb cake ink pad. I'm going to ink that up. Okay, so I've got the older style ink pad, so I've just got to work it a little bit. And sorry if I'm shaking the whole table when I'm doing that. But make sure it's in the corner, give it a good ink. There's a section there that didn't ink. That's the beauty of the Stamparatus, is you can now grab your ink pad and it should be able to get it in the right spot. Okay, let's do that again. Okay. So that's that one, that image, all done. Give that a bit of a clean so I don't get a mess on myself when I turn it over. Then I've got the soft suede image coming up, so I'm just going to ink that up. That's the second image now. Okay, ink that up and press down. Okay. Take that off. So that's that part done. Then I'm going to switch this plate over because I've got the last image there. I'll grab my chocolate chip ink. Okay, and I'll stamp that bit over now. Okay, I'll ink that the last chocolate chip bit in again. Okay, so you can easily mass produce these. That's the beauty of these, is that you can mass produce, no issues at all. And then we turn this one over. We have our sentiment already set up. Grab my chocolate chip again. Any extras, I use my chamois for this. Just wipe off any excess ink. Make sure it goes right there. Done. And there you have it, all finished. See? So you can do multiple cards at the same time with the Stamparatus. So that's using the photopolymer. And it's pretty much the same with the with the wood, not wood mount, the clear mount stamps. I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean. Get rid of all of that chocolate chip ink. And over there too, okay? So if you're wanting to mass produce, there you go. I've just done 2 cards in next to no time, really. So it's all really good. So now I'm just going to take off these stamps, and I'll show you with a wood mount stamp how it would work. So I'll just wipe everything off here. And that too. And then I'll bring over a wood mount stamp, so please bear with me. And whilst I organise myself here so I don't lose any of the stamps, because I'd hate to lose them. And I will be back and I'll show you a wood mount stamp. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate now with a clear mount stamp, and I said wood mount just before I changed over, with the Blooming Basket stamp set. This is a celebration item that you can get at the moment. You've got till the 31st of March, so if you're interested, please get it now before it goes. So I'm going to use the basket image. Hopefully that area is big enough. This is just on a scrap piece of cardstock here. So I'll just grab that, and we need to take away the foam that comes with it, the stamping foam. Now, I might use, I'll use this image like so. Yeah. All right. Now, this takes it up just like that. And I'm going to ink it up in soft suede. Okay. And let's stamp on that. And if you're not happy with that stamped image, not a problem. Just ink it up again. And you should get a precise image. Now, as I said, near the corner, or near the sides there where the hinges are, it may not stamp great. So I did it again, so that's stamped a little better. So maybe we'll go for third time lucky. And I've just smudged it with my hands because the ink is still a bit wet. But let's try this again here. Give it a press in the area where you need it, but don't go too hard because you can actually snap it. You can break it, and you don't want that. So that's stamped okay. There's still areas that it didn't stamp properly, so if that happens, I'm going to bring my craft foam, which isn't as thick as the foam that this comes with. So I'm going to try this again and see what happens. So if you're not happy with that image 100%, like I'm not in the middle, it didn't turn out great. So I'm going to ink it up again. And it just depends, I think, on the stamps. Not all stamps are created equal. Even with my Misty and even with my Tim Holtz, I do use a piece of craft foam underneath just to help the image. Now I'll just try that again here. It just gives it a bit of a lift closer to the hinges there, and I think that gives a more precise image. And that's how that turned out. See that? In the middle still is a problem. So ink it up again with the stamp still in its place. And start that again and see what happens there. Okay. And that's the best I can do with that one. So there you go. But it does, it does a beautiful job, very precise. It's a nice dark image now. And I just smudged that with my hands, so as you can see, I've got ink all over it. So yeah, the ink is still a little bit wet, so you've got to give it a bit of time. But I think it turned out great. So I think the Stamparatus, if you are looking at, mass producing cards, this is fantastic. Both images look exactly the same, except I cut this one a little bit smaller than this this area here, but in all honesty, I think the Stamparatus does a fantastic job for mass producing, especially when you have 3 or 4 step stamps, or if you're not sure about stamping and you want to be precise without destroying your paper, you know, your cardstock and everything. This is great. This turned out really, really well. So when if you haven't reserved one, you can actually buy one. You can buy that through me, through my online store in June. The 1st of June is when they'll be available as a stock item in our annual catalogue. So I hope you enjoyed today's Stamparatus tutorial. There are many other things you can do with this. So yeah, you can even do stepped stamps with sentiments. So what I might show you is on the underside of this, how that works. So I'll just start clean this stamp for a second. And I'll show you how the hinged stamping works, which is fantastic. And a feature that the other stamp platforms do not have. So it's uniquely Stampin' Up in this case. So I'll just give this a bit of a clean, take that off. And I'll grab my photopolymer one again. And this time I'll pop this here. And if I want to stamp, for example, hip hip hooray, just for argument's sake. I'm going to use brown on everything today. So just use that one. And I want to stamp that, say, here. Oops, and it's upside down. Okay, let's do that. All right. So I'll pop my plate over that. I'll ink it up in soft suede. Wipe off any excess ink, but it won't transfer to the page. But I'll just show you this hinged stamping trick. So that's one. Lift this up, make it go down, ink it up on this side. Just wipe off here. There. Take it off. Do that same thing again. There. See, again, I'll do it one more time. You can go all the way down your page. And then you can do it again if you want to. This will be, I think, the last one. Yeah, that's my stop on that one. But you can do in these nice increments. So it's nice and even. Then, if you want to have that filled up, it's really, really simple. All you need to do is just grab your stamp once you've cleaned it and put it where you want. So let's go underneath here for the demonstration. Put these back up again. Pick up the stamp. So I just moved that. Let's do that again. Let's put it more precisely in the middle. Of course, this is just to quickly show you how it's done. So pick that up, ink it up. You can choose different colours. Next one, do the same thing again. Oh dear, I've got ink all over myself. I'm not having a good day demonstrating this, am I? Do it again. Next one, down. Ink that up. Do that again. And there you have it. See? You can have it evenly all the way down. Now, in saying that, my page did move a couple of times, so make sure it is butted up right against the corner or wherever you want it to be. Use your magnets if you wish, and you can do that. So it's a really handy tool, I have to say. As I said, I do have the Misty and I do have the Tim Holtz. Maybe my next video will be a comparison between the three because they're the most popular ones. All I can say is the Stamparatus is fantastic, but you do need to have a little workaround. In my case, I needed to add a small piece of craft or fun foam just underneath. I cut it to the same size as this one. I have it underneath and I stamp with my photopolymers, and that makes it easy for me to stamp near the corner as well, so that's why I'm using it. Also, I find it is handy to have it with your red rubber stamps as well. It really depends, but for me, I needed it, but for me that's a small workaround which I'm happy about. I don't really care. So please, if you haven't got it already, do consider ordering it when it comes live for customers to order. You won't be disappointed. If you've been waiting for a stamping platform or a stamping tool like this, you won't be disappointed with this. You get 4 stamping surfaces. You can use it on photopolymer and also on red rubber cling mount stamps. They're removable plates, so if you just want to use one, you can. If you want to use both, you can. If you're mass producing, like I just showed you, 2 cards exactly the same, and using the Stamparatus makes it really, really easy if you're mass producing cards for a particular event or just for fun. So guys, I highly, highly recommend it. I just take off the plates. You can leave one on, but I take them both off and just store them like that. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration of the Stamparatus. If you'd like me to do any other techniques with it, just let me know. Probably the next video I will do a comparison between the Stamparatus and the Tim Holtz one and the Misty to show you the differences with them. And then they all work really similar, so you can't say they don't stamp clean images, they all do. So for me, it's up to you. I don't know if I should do it or not. Let me know, actually. Let me know in your comments if I should do a comparison video between the Stamparatus, Tim Holtz and the Misty. I'll combine all 3. Or not to worry, and I'll get on to the next video that I have in mind, which will be using the Stamparatus with die cuts. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration. If you have any questions, any suggestions, do not hesitate to let me know, and please leave a comment below this video, or you can go through my online store at pepperlyrose.stampinup.net and just click on the contact me section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.